In this video, I would like to give you some tips so that you can better plan your journey to Santiago de Compostela on the Camino Francés. Why is planning important? Because you are already tired from your work and you don't want to have other little troubles to add more to your fatigue. So I will talk about accommodation bookings, crossing the mountains, rest days, walking distances, and also the arrival to Santiago de Compostela. Just before I start, I want to mention that all the screenshots for distances are done using the Camino Ninja app. First, let's talk about the start at Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. You are probably told by many other people that you have to book your first accommodation on the Camino Francés, so I'm not going to insist on that. Book your accommodation from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Roncesvalles. Don't let some trouble of accommodation spoil your start on the Camino. Now there's one question. If it's fully booked in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, what do? I have one solution. Instead of sleeping at Saint-Jean, you start to go up to the Pyrenees. After 5 kilometers, you are going to find a farm called Itourboulia, and there you can have a room and also have dinner. If you do that, the next day you are going to have less to walk to Roncesvalles. But of course, this is only possible if you have enough time. Walking 5 kilometers from Saint-Jean will take you maybe about 1.5 hours. This is only possible if you arrive early in the afternoon. Now another thing. Most people, when they arrive at Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, they go to the pilgrim office. You might see a long queue there. In fact, for me, there's no need to go to the pilgrim office. If you have your guidebook and you use your app properly, then you already know everything that they will tell you. And for the credential, you can get it at the albergue, or you can even get it from the country where you come from. So unless you have plenty of questions to ask at the pilgrim's office, if there's a long queue, you might just want to skip it. Next, let's talk about the mountain stages. On the Camino Francés, there are 2 difficult mountains to cross, the Pyrenees and Au Cebreiro. First, the Pyrenees. Walking from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Roncesvalles, there are 24 kilometers of distance, 1,500 meters of ascent, and 700 meters of descent. This is quite a lot for the first day. So I recommend you to split this stage in 2. I've seen many people having injuries after arriving at Roncesvalles. So you don't want to do the same mistake. You don't want to have injuries right on the first day. Take it slowly and be safe. So unless you are very fit or don't have a lot of time, it's really better to go slowly. If you can, stay in Refuge Horizon, which is 7.5k away from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. But Refuge Horizon is very popular, so you might not be able to book a bed. In this case, you might want to try Auberge Borda, which is 10k from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. And if Horizon and Borda are fully booked, you can still try Honto, the one that I mentioned before. Honto is only 5k away from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, so you don't gain a lot for next day, but it's still better than nothing. Next, Au Cebreiro. The classic stage is to walk from Villafranca de Bierzo to Au Cebreiro. There's a 28k walk with an ascent of 1,100 and a descent of 260 meters. I think this is very demanding and it's better to shorten this stage. There are a few albergues between Villafranca del Bierzo and Au Cebreiro. It's better to book a night there. If you do that, next day you will be able to walk less to reach Au Cebreiro. Or there's another alternative, is that instead of sleeping in Villafranca del Bierzo, you walk a little bit more, 10k more, to Trabadero. If you spend a night in this albergue, next day, instead of having to walk 28k, you will only have 18k to walk to Au Cebreiro. And be aware that on the mountain stages, it's not just a matter of distance and elevation, but also it's a matter of weather. When you have a very bad weather, then you can really suffer a lot. Be careful and check the weather. If the weather is not good, then definitely you shouldn't attempt long distance. Daily walking distances. In case you are wondering what distance you should walk per day, here are some stats for you. On average, pilgrims on the Camino Francés are walking between 20 to 25 kilometers per day. I think this is a sweet spot. It allows you to enjoy the most the Camino Francés. Because let's say if you walk only 15 kilometers, you are going to arrive at the albergue too early. They are not usually open before 1 p.m. And the albergue also will kick you out after 8 a.m. so you can't stay late neither. And if you walk very long distance, for example, more than 35 kilometers per day, unless you start very early, you are going to arrive quite late in the afternoon and you won't have time to do some visits or to socialize with other pilgrims. And also, another very important aspect of walking 20 to 25 kilometers per day is that you are going to meet the same people again and again without any coordination, because this is the typical distance other people would do. For me, this is the greatest magic of the Camino Francés, being able to meet people again and again, day after day, from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Santiago de Compostela, without actually walking with them every day. Next, let's talk about rest days. I'd advise you to plan a few days in your journey where you don't walk at all, so that your mind and your body can rest a little bit. If you have some injuries, it will give you time to heal a little bit, and also it will give you a time to do a big laundry, to do some visit, or simply enjoy life in Spain. And if you take a rest day, I think it's better to stay in a big town like Pamplona, Logroño, Burgos, or León, because there you'll be able to find the things you want, and also there are more things to do. Having said that, big towns are not always fun, and you can be a little bit lost, and you might feel that you have lost your noble status of pilgrim to become an average tourist. And by the way, I'd like to mention about some psychological aspect related to rest days. After you had your first rest day, you might feel even more tired. In fact, your body is rested. It's just your mind who is making you aware of your fatigue. Don't worry, you are going to find your energy quickly again. Also, if you walk alone, you might feel a little bit lonely after your rest day, because the people you have walked with, they have moved on and now they are one day ahead of you. But trust me, this feeling is only temporary, because you are going to make new friends, and you actually might meet your old friends again, because they are also going to take some rest day on their own. So don't worry about not being able to see your friends if you take a rest day. If the Camino wants you to meet them again, you will meet them again. Next, should you book or not book your albergues ahead? I think there's not a right answer for that. It all depends on your personality. Some people prefer not to book so that they can have their freedom until the last moment. Some others prefer to book so that they have the peace of mind. Personally, I belong to the second category. I feel more relaxed when I know that at the end of the day, when I arrive in the town, I'm going to find my bed for sure. I'm more relaxed, I walk slowly, I stay longer in the coffee shop, I enjoy more my Camino when my albergue is booked. And I have also seen some other pilgrims who are in trouble because they couldn't find accommodation. They have to run everywhere to find a place. But of course, at the end, they will still find the accommodation. But I was happy that I didn't have to do that. Once again, it's just a matter of personality. It's your own choice. But in case you don't book, I think at least one thing you can do is in the afternoon before you arrive, make a phone call. And if they tell you that the albergue is full, at least you don't need to show up, and you will save you some time. And finally, let's talk about the arrival at Santiago. I advise you to walk in Santiago as early as possible, because there will be less people at the pilgrim's office and also less people on the square. For that, my recommendation is to spend a night at La Bacoya, which is the airport of Santiago, and it's 10 kilometers away from Santiago. Next day, when you walk to Santiago, it's going to take you maybe only 2.5 hours. The pilgrim's office opened from 9 a.m., so you can go to the pilgrim's office once you arrive and get your credential, and after that, you can go to the pilgrim's mass. Alright, that's it. So these are the few recommendations I have to help you to plan your Camino. I have many other videos helping you for the preparation, and please subscribe to my channel and you are going to see them. And for those who have some tips to share with other pilgrims, you can leave them in my comment. Thank you and buen camino.